Hey, welcome back to ZK MasterTech. I'm back in Illinois. I took a little trip out to Laramie, Wyoming to visit Wyotech, and I'm super excited about the future of Wyotech. As you all may have known, I am a 2007 graduate of Wyotech, and I hold that school near and dear to my heart. I went out there to visit the place and do another tour, and it's just, my mind is blown what they're doing there nowadays. And I'm going to be doing a YouTube video for that, so stay tuned. And today, back in Illinois, it's actually pretty warm. It's like 55 degrees, so hitting the fields again. Got back in the service truck. I thought maybe my little vacation that the farmers would be done by now, but apparently they're not. So we're still working on tractors right now in the field. Combines are pretty much wrapped up, but here we got a John Deere 8310R, and we have a leak on the ILS valve block underneath the tractor. So we're probably going to learn how to manually drain down the ILS system so we can replace a solenoid valve that I think is leaking. Customer sent me a couple pictures, and I ordered a valve that I thought might be leaking, so we're going to dig into that. Also, the customer is saying that the tractor is having to park regen a lot, so we're going to look into why the tractor wants to regen all the time. So let's check it out. This video is brought to you by Brunt, the brand that is transforming workwear. Brunt makes high-performing workwear at honest prices. Stop overpaying to do your job. You don't have to. These boots are way less than the ones I were paying for, and I think they are a higher quality boot. There's no BS. These boots are the real deal. They're tough as nails. They're light as a feather. Brunt sells high-quality work boots and work apparel, and they're designed with real workers, built with the best materials and technology. And if these boots don't perform to your standards, return your purchase within 30 days for a full refund. They sell directly to you. No middleman, shipping and returns are free too. It's a no-brainer. So when Brunt reached out to me and wanted to send me an awesome pair of boots, these are the ring boots here, and those are the ones that I picked, and I really like these boots. You know, I'm a big guy and I got really big feet, and sometimes it's really hard for me to find boots in my size, and when I do find them, they're usually pretty expensive. I've been wearing them for about a week now, and so far they're holding up really well. You guys know that I'm climbing up and down equipment, going up and down tires, you know, going through the mud and the fields and everything else, and my boots take a beating, and most of the time they don't even last a year. So I'm super impressed with these boots, and I'm definitely going to be buying more. So if you guys want to get $10 off your first purchase with a 30-day risk-free trial, go to bruntworkwear.com/ZK10. That's bruntworkwear.com/ZK10, and use the code ZK10 in the link in the description. Now let's get back to the action and see if we can get this tractor running. So the ILS stands for Independent Link Suspension. So if you look in here, we've got an upper and lower control arm. You know, we got a drive shaft coming out with U-joints on it that's driving the final drive. And then we've got a cylinder there that is lifting the tractor up and down. And what that does is it allows the tractor to change, you know, its angle to transfer power where it needs to be, and also it's going to allow the tractor to ride a lot better in the field. But underneath the tractor, we've got a valve block that controls all that, and she's got a leak. Let's see where. Okay, so yep, I believe it's coming out of this valve right here. Now these are your raise and lower valves, and these little knurled buttons on there allows you to manually drain the system. So you would press that in and turn it to the left on each one, and then the tractor should bleed down all the pressure in the cylinders and it'll lower the front end. So let's go ahead and try to get this thing bled down. Okay, so you want to position your body where you're not going to get crushed by the tractor as it comes crashing down. Push that in. Turn it to the left. That one's stuck. There, I think I got it to turn. There she goes. You can hear those cylinders draining. There's also 2 accumulators right here to help with pressure spikes in the system, you know, as you're bouncing up and down, going down the roads in the field and stuff. So now that we got that bled down, we can start digging into this solenoid valve. Well, I got some wrenches so I was planning on taking this one off so I could clean a little better around this one. I mean, it's obviously got oil coming out of the end of the stem here, but I was going to take this coil off, but look at this. This whole entire solenoid valve is turning, so that's not cool. So we'll have to take this one out and take a look at it. Hopefully this nut will break loose. So it's a 3/4 nut. Take that guy off. Boy, she's yucky. That one was pretty loose. I mean, it might be shooting up from this one into there. But let's get this connector off. So I'm going to clean around this, and we'll pull that valve out, take a look at it. I got that cleaned up a bit more, trying to be as clean as possible. Let's check this thing's O-ring status. Well, what do you think? I mean, it doesn't look horrible. I mean, the boss O-ring around the threads is a little smashed, so I guess we'll see if I got some seals on the truck here that will take care of that. I'm gonna stick this guy back in for now. Control the leakage. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this apart. So hopefully we can take this 5/8 nut off here through the paint. Wrench doesn't want to go on. I know you're 5/8. Get on there. Okay. Oh, this is nice. There. Okay. I got this 5/8 nut broke loose here. Take that guy off. Should be able to wiggle this solenoid off. Boop. Like that. I got that cleaned up, and I'm using a gear inch 7/8 sensor socket that comes in their master sensor socket kit, because you know it's got the depth that I need. And it's kind of thin walled. You can get it into tight areas, so it kind of works pretty good on solenoid valves. At least it wasn't super tight. Alright, Oh boy. Well, I think we're just going to hot swap this one because I do already have this valve. So we'll just do a quick swap here because I know this one is leaking. He sent me pictures of it shooting out of that little stem. There. There she goes. Okay. That's in. Is this valve? Yeah, so that's closed. That's open. Alright, well, guess we need to pull this one out and see if we can't find an O-ring on my truck. Alright. New O-rings. Had a seal kit on my truck. I better get those solenoid valves cleaned up. They're awful icky. Alright. Got those cleaned up pretty good. Boop. Got a new nut for the coil. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and push these in. Yeah, that one's already in. Yep, so good there. Put this other coil on. Oh yeah. Positive engagement. Alright, well, let's go raise this baby up. What do you say? Alright, so we're in the tractor cab here, but I heard some turkeys gobbling over here on the farm, and turkeys kind of freaked me out because, to tell you a story, I went to go work on I think it was a 9860 combine on this farm, and I pull in the drive and I notice there's this big male all white turkey walking around, and I get on my truck and he starts kind of coming after me, and he seems like he's aggressive, and the farmer's like, no, he's harmless, he won't bother you. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Ain't my first time around a turkey, so I had to weld something on the shoe auger bulkhead, but I'm underneath the combine up by the transmission, so I'm tucked in this really small hole, and I'm in there. I barely got enough room for my body, but I've got a welding helmet on, a welding jacket, gloves, and I'm trying to stick weld on this bulkhead, and I'm welding along, and then all of a sudden that turkey got underneath that combine and started biting the crap out of my leg, and I'm freaking out, and I'm arcing like everything on the way out, trying to get out from underneath this combine so I can go hand-to-hand combat with this turkey. And I finally got him kind of shooed away, and then he kept coming after me, so I had to take my welding jacket off, and I was swinging it at this turkey. So I'm on a farm and I hear a turkey gobbling, kind of creeps me out just a little bit. So a little funny story for you, but we're in the cab here, and I'm going to show you how to go into the suspension controller address to where we can manually raise and lower the ILS system, but it also is the calibration for it as well. But you can use that address to just raise and lower the tractor. So we're going to cycle it up and down a few times, get all the air bled out of it, and then we'll raise it all the way up, and then we'll see if we got any leaks or not. And it's actually kind of ironic that I told you the turkey story, because tomorrow is actually Thanksgiving, so maybe I might have dinner for tomorrow. Who knows? Because I'm going to win. Okay, I went ahead and topped the oil off. It was actually really, really low. So we're good on oil now. We'll go to the menu. We're going to go to the message center. And we're going to go into the SFA controller address 20. That is our ILS suspension calibration, and that's going to allow me to raise and lower this front end using the #1 SCV lever. So we're going to push addresses, and that gets done loading. And the touchscreen doesn't work, so I'm using the cab switch module over here. So we're going to go back on the diagnostic address button, and we're going to press and hold it for about 7 seconds. And a little T is going to show up there. That means we're in tech mode, so that's some address won't show up unless you have it in tech mode. So we're going to scroll down to SFA, which stands for suspended front axle. We're going to select that. We'll scroll down to, not too far, address 20. It says interactive cal. We're going to select that. Now, if it says lock, you got to make sure your SCVs are locked out, so you push that button to lock it out. So we're going to hit the accept button. It's going to say SCV1. So if you detent the SCV lever back, it'll raise the tractor. If you detent it forward, it'll lower. But we're all the way low, so we're going to pull back on it. And the tractor should start to raise. It's got air in it. Let's try this again. It'll only go for so long if it doesn't see any movement. There we go. She's raising up now. All the way down. Just going to cycle it a few times. Alright, let's go check this thing for leaks real quick. Okay, so we don't have any leaks, so we're going to go ahead and run through the calibration procedure. So we're just going to lower it all the way down. We'll make sure the numbers stop. And then it'll say pause. And we're going to raise it all the way up. And then we're going to hit accept. says EOC, that means end of calibration. Then it's going to go through and kind of show what all the values were for the pressure and voltages. Done. And that's how you calibrate the ILS suspension. And it allows you to manually raise and lower it for various repairs and whatever you need to do. So we got the problem fixed with the ILS, so now I'm moving on to the regen problem that I talked about first in the video. I looked up the codes here. We've got a code for the engine being derated, which is because there's a bunch of other codes stored. So we have a code for the DOC inlet temperature target not reached during ETM. So that's telling me that some things that could be, like if your temperature is not getting high enough, you could have a problem with an exhaust leak. Maybe your thermostats are stuck open and the engine can't get hot enough. That could cause the exhaust temperatures to not be as high. You could have a problem with the air throttle valve, which is not likely because there's no codes for the air throttle valve. Or it could be, you could have restricted fuel filters. When your fuel filters get restricted, the fuel dosing system is the first thing to get affected by that. So I'll probably go out and check the fuel filters. I'm going to check the exhaust system for any leaks. If we're leaking out heat, it's not going to get hot enough, so I'll check that out. We also have a code for the calculated soot loading rate of change abnormal. So the ECU is using 3 different soot models. You got time-based, fuel balance-based, and DPF delta pressure-based. This code is basically saying that one of those rates are abnormal. So could have a problem with something electrical. It could be the sensors. There's after treatment temperature sensors, so we could be getting an inaccurate reading from those sensors. It could be an inaccurate reading from the DPF differential pressure sensor, which is measuring pressure before and after the filter, and then the ECU can calculate how much soot is in the filter based on the pressure before and after the filter. You could also literally have a problem with dosing too much fuel, or too much fuel getting into the exhaust, or you could have contaminants going into the exhaust like oil or coolant. So there is a lot that could cause a soot loading rate of change to be abnormal. Looking through the other codes, and then we got the calculated soot level moderately high, which, yeah, it probably is. Soot level 3 has been reached, but the engine could not complete an auto DPF regeneration. So basically the tractor tried to do an automatic cleaning, but couldn't get it done. So the first thing we need to do is just do a kind of a visual check over the exhaust system, make sure we don't have any leaks. I already did a engine harness diagnostic test, so that will move everything on the engine that has like a position sensor. It'll check all the wiring for the injectors, all the sensors, everything. If there's basically a circuit fault, or something moves to a position and the ECU doesn't see it move the correct amount of voltage or whatever, it will go ahead and throw a code. I did that harness test a few times. It didn't set any codes, so I don't think we have any major electrical problems right now. So I also went in and looked at the after treatment temperature sensors, and they're all reading within 30 degrees of each other right now, so that's good. Even though, I mean, really, to truly tell, you need to either take the sensors out of the DPF and DOC and expose them to ambient temperature and let them cool down, and then you go in and you check the readings and see if they're within like I would say 5 degrees of each other, you know, if they're just chilling out in the ambient temperature. Or you can check it when the engine's cold soak, so the engine's been sitting more than 8 hours. Then you can go in and check the same thing. But, you know, after it's been running for a little bit, I generally shoot for about, you know, a 30-degree difference. And they're all within 30 degrees of each other. So just looking through the codes right now, I'm not really sure what's going on with this tractor yet. It's got 3,400 hours on this tractor, so it's got quite a few hours. You know, like the service interval on a DPF is 4,500 hours, so I mean, we are getting close to that. We could have a problem, you know, with the DPF filter. Maybe it might need cleaned. We can take those off and get them cleaned, or you can replace them. Usually the cleaning place will clean them, and then they'll flow them, and they'll tell you whether or not that the filter is good or bad. So, but we won't know that unless you just tear into the DPF and take it off and have a look-see. They're wanting to use this tractor right now, so if I can get this thing up and running until they can get finished up in the next few days, then we'll have a little bit more time to maybe dig into it a little deeper. So if I don't find anything during my visual check, I'm going to go ahead and perform a service regen, and then I will monitor the data while it's doing a service regen. And if the temperatures are getting high enough, or something else maybe in the fuel dosing system doesn't look right, then I might look a little more into it then. But I'm going to go ahead and give her a, you know, lay my eyes on it. So I didn't hear any exhaust leaks, feel any exhaust leaks. Everything seems to be all right. You know, checking the exhaust manifold and the turbo connections, the exhaust pipe going to the DOC. That seems to be all good. I didn't see any, you know, black soot shooting out anywhere. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a regeneration. And I'm gonna monitor the data, and we'll see if anything sticks out. And we're regenning. So it'll run 1800 RPM. See this little icon right here? That means that it's actively regenerating. So I'm gonna go back in and look at the data. Well, my exhaust temps are looking pretty good, actually. I mean, she's full-blown regenerating right now, and the desired DOC outlet temperature is 1,112, and our actual DOC outlet temperature is 1,106. So I mean, it's only 6 degrees off, which is nothing when we're in the, you know, thousands of degrees. Fuel dosing pressure is looking good. My engine coolant temp right now is 182.5. But it's only probably 50-55 degrees outside. This tractor is just sitting here, no load. It's probably not going to get, you know, above 200 degrees unless we actually load the tractor down. So that's probably okay. So air throttle's running right where it needs to be, around 8.3%. So everything's looking good. All right, well, I kind of had to hurry up because the customer is needing to use the tractor. They're trying to get some work done before it rains. So all the temperatures and everything looked ideal during the service regen. So I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not sure what's going on with this tractor right now. I got the soot level to not needed, so that's good. So it actually did its job. So I went ahead and I'm going to let the customer run the tractor for now, and we'll just keep a close eye on it. And if it starts doing it again, then we'll look into it a little further. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of ZK MasterTech. Like and subscribe to the channel, and until next time, keep that green iron moving.